Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Sean Wright, and I get to work for the Human Rights Campaign.
Whoa.
And I get to work for Hope. My boss, Hope Jackson. Where's Hope? Where's Hope? Hope Jackson! So you are my family, but this is going to get tough. Last year, we lost Blaze Bernstein. He was a young, Jewish, gay man who had just recently come out to his family, who embraced him with love. But unfortunately, when he came back to Orange County, he came up against hate, and they stabbed him, and they killed him, and they buried him in Lake Forest. And Mimi Walters said nothing. She didn't reach out to the community. She didn't say, how do we come together as a family and fix this? But Katie Porter showed up. Katie Porter said, I care. Here in Orange County, we have an amazing steering committee. Michelle and David are here. We thank you. They raise money so that people like me can be in places like this at moments like now. We have Representative Garamendi from Northern California. He's a farmer, he's in Purple District, and he wants to make sure that we know right here in Orange County, we are going to do this. We had a parade this year, and it was called Blaze Forward. That parade that started in Orange County is going all the way to Washington, D.C.
Are you ready for a change? Are you ready to make Orange County blue? Are you ready for human rights throughout the United States and throughout the world? You bet. How do you do that? You work, you walk the precincts, you make the telephone calls. How many of you have been out walking? That away. That's what it's going to take. You got to get the vote out. How do you get the vote out? You ring the doorbell. You drag them to the polls. You tell people your vote counts. Without your vote, you cannot change America. Anybody believe America's on the right track? Not amongst this. We need to change. And I'll tell you what the change is. It's right here. This lady is the change that America needs. Katie Porter understands. She knows health care. She knows what we need to do. And she needs to be in the Congress of the United States. Are you ready to make that happen? How do you make that happen? You work at it. And there is somebody here that has worked for years to bring equality, to bring about the change that America needs. Chad, your turn. Go get him.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We are so lucky to have Congressman Garamendi joining us today. As many of you know, he has spent his life fighting for the residents of this state, fighting for everyone in his district. He has a perfect 100 on HRC's congressional scorecard. Day in and day out, he goes to Washington to fight for all of us. But not everyone does that. Not everyone representing this state, and certainly not representing this district, goes to Washington to stand up and to fight for all of us. We're 22 days away from this election, not that anyone's counting. And as you all know, early votes already started here in the state of California. Voters are voting in the state of California. I look around this room, and I know many of you, like me, have heard every single election that this is the most important election of our lives. But you know what? With the future of our democracy on the ballot, and make no mistake about it, it is. With our health care on the ballot, and make no mistake about it, it is. And with the equality of future generations on the ballot, and that too is on this ballot. So guess what? This election is actually the most important election of our lives. And as I look around this room, you know what the opposition doesn't have? They don't have you. They don't have this grassroots army showing up here tonight in Tustin and in other key races all across Southern California. You are what makes the difference in this election. All of these races are going to be close. Every single vote matters. Every single one of them. So every phone call you make, that could make the difference on whether Katie Porter goes to Congress. Every single door you knock on, that could be the deciding factor in who wins this race. Now, not every race in the country do you have stark contrast between two candidates. Wow, it's hard to imagine grander differences. The current member of Congress has a 32 on HRC's congressional scorecard. She opposes the Affordable Care Act that thousands upon thousands of people in this district rely on. She opposes equality across the board. And then we have this star. We have this champion who for her entire life has fought for the equal dignity of all people. As a consumer attorney, she has fought for the rights of all of us, of all of you. And never has she gone out and decided, who am I going to stand up for and who am I going to discriminate against? That's what the current occupant of this district does day in and day out. So are you ready to make history? Yeah? Are you ready to send Katie Porter to the United States Congress? Join me in welcoming your next member of Congress, Katie Porter!
Thank you all so much for being here and for being a part of this. Nobody gets elected alone. When we win this race, it will be because each one of us in this room did the hard work of democracy. And we did it day in and day out. I've been on the campaign trail 20 months, and I will go as long as it takes and work as hard as I need to win this race to represent our shared values. Now we know what our mission is. Together, we are going to repeal and replace Mimi Walters. And together, we're going to flip the House. And most importantly of all, together, we're going to stand up every day, now and into the future, for our human rights, for civil rights, for equality, and for our California values. Mimi Walters didn't just find her values with the election of Trump. She has a long, long history of being on the wrong side of human rights and civil rights. She called same-sex marriage, marriage equality, a travesty of family values. I believe it is not her business or the government's business to tell you who you can love or the family that you can create. Mimi Walters has opposed addressing the discrimination that the LGBTQ plus community faces. And I fought that kind of discrimination in our housing markets, in our credit markets, in education. So I am proud to be a supporter of the Equality Act, and I cannot wait until we show until we pass the Equality Act and we show that we stand together as people, connected by our values with each of us, entitled to have opportunity and equality and respect in this society. Now, we've got some hard work ahead of us. We have 22 more days. How are we gonna beat Mimi? How are we gonna flip the House? And how are we gonna fight for equality? We're gonna talk to voters. We're going to do it at the doors if you can. We're going to do it on the phone if you can't. If you really can't do that, I can set you up with texting, but we're already swimming in texters. We have to reach out to voters. They deserve, our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, they deserve to know the choice that's before them on November 6th. And it's up to us to tell them where Mimi stands and who she stands against. So we're going to come together, we're going to knock on doors, we're going to tell people about Mimi's record, and we're going to tell them that I will always fight for equality, for civil liberties, for civil rights, for health care. This is our election. This is our time to turn Orange County blue and to elect someone who will fight for families, not special interests. Thank you guys so much for all you're doing. Let's get to work. We have phone banking opportunities tonight. For those of you who can stay, please do. It means so much to us to have your time. I know how busy you guys are. Yes, and I want to ask that each of you, as you're talking to voters about Mimi Walters and this race, that you encourage them to vote down ballot, to recognize that the change we want to see cannot be made at Congress alone. We need to elect folks at the state level, like Kadi Petrie-Norris and others. We need to elect folks at the local level, like Farrah Khan and Lauren Johnson Norris in Irvine, Betty Valencia in Orange. Because true equality requires all parts and all levels of government being in the fight and on the right side of the fight. So please not only fight for this race, but fight for all of the races that are at stake, because together, when we're working together to do what's right, we are so much stronger. So thank you all so much. Please phone bank, please help. For those of you who've canvassed today already, thank you. For those of you who can canvass again, thank you. I'm buying flashlights. We are gonna take on daylight savings time, and we are gonna get out there. So, as you think about what more you can do, and you guys have already done so much, and you have dug deep, I want you to know that this race will come down to the ground game that we put together. It will come down not only to the number of conversations you have, but the heart that you put into those conversations. So please, keep working every day, keep being part of this, and I cannot wait to see you on November 6th when we come together to celebrate equality for our country. Thank you guys so much.
We're gonna do a group photo, so 10 seconds, and we're gonna join you all, and we'll do a quick group photo.